the staff that are going to answer Councillor Johansson's question, just coming up.
Oh, they're there now. Like,
Great.
Righto.
Sorry for not being available straight away.
Thank you.
The very few changes between the consultation document and the proposed LTP that we're discussing today are obviously summarised on this sheet. We've got a couple of movements. One of the major movements was the Parkhouse Road one, land purchase no longer being required, and we effectively reprioritised that money down to regional park land acquisitions. That one there is usually funded by basically the development, IPA contributions, is it? Yeah. That's right. So generally extremely minor movements, as you can see, 8 million right across the board over the 10 years. So sorry, what was the question, Yanni?
So I'm looking at the agenda for today.
Yep.
And the list of CapEx changes.
Yep.
The CapEx changes that are listed on the agenda do not match the decisions that have been made. And the classic example is Wine Street, where on the tool that we've got, it's showing that project is no longer proceeding. It was a $2 million project on the draft LTP, but obviously it's no longer happening. But there's no change to that in the documents that we've got.
Sorry, which was the project? Vine Street.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So on the tool,
Yeah.
it's got not proceeding, and it's got the draft budget that we consulted on. It's got what currently on budget and what's proposed,
Yep.
and then it's got not proceeding, right? Which is correct. It's not proceeding. The community board has decided not to go with it, but there's nothing in the changes that shows that line item is being deleted out of the capital program, and there's nothing that shows actually that the cost has gone up to whatever it is, 5 million or 6 million. So I'm just concerned that there's a number of projects where we've got updated costings that are not being changed in the draft LTP.
There's always a lot of changes happening at all times. So, I mean, I could look up this project right now, but there's a whole lot of movements that are going on all the time. So with the LTP, we have to put a line in the sand. And obviously the number one line in the sand was when we went out for consultation. And then we've obviously had some movements, and we've baked in some movements to get you the plan today. For an individual project, we may be doing that under delegated authority. So we may be just making that change, through the change request process, because that's just one project of many that we do. So I'd have to look up and check exactly how we're going to move that budget out of there, or how it was moved.
So when was the cutoff for the changes? What was the date?
The day that you started running all of the finances?
It would have been around probably early June, I would have thought. For that date, we'd have to go back to get you the exact date.
4th of June is what's in my mind, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't swear on
Yeah,
it.
it was early June.
And we've had the updated wine costings since about mid-April.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I would have to look up the project. Have you got the project number there? I mean, we can go through each one.
So because I note that there's a number of other craft stuff that is on this list as well. So again, not quite sure of the stuff that's being added and the process to add things to this list.
this just.
But
Have you got an answer?
So, through the chair, we have had a number of conversations, particularly about Wine Street, to use it as a specific example. It was in the CRAF program, and it is now not proceeding as part of the CRAF program, so it is being considered as part of our wider street renewal program, which is not listed as individual projects at this stage in the LTPs you've got. So we've been through this in briefings. So Wine Street in particular is being considered by staff under the wider street
Under the big
upgrade
umbrella.
program.
Mhm.
I believe that and I'm sorry, I don't have the full details, but I believe issue around the minor changes with the CREF was a bit of rebalancing to make sure there was enough money on budget next year for work that had actually already been, well underway this year. So because our projects run over years, sometimes when we actually use the budget shifts between years. So we have to make that allowance within the program and the build up of our LTP. And so the final changes would have been made just before the model needed to be run.
So all is not lost. It's still,
It's still all there.
It's still
and
in
we
there.
are still considering it.
Yep.
And it's noted in one of the amendments as well.
Thank you very much. Good. Okay, so we'll now rip on to number 7, and we've got a mover and seconder between Councillor Cotter and myself. Is there any debate on that? I didn't think there would be. So I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour, step 7. Aye. Against? Thank you. That's carried. I will now move